that and be more refined, we actually take the tobacco plant and we divide it in 8 characteristics. It's called primings. When we start picking the tobacco, it's the first priming, second, third, fourth, fifth, all the way to the 8th priming. So when I'm making a blend, I'll say I want the 8th priming from particular farm in Esteli, Nicaragua. I want the 6th priming from particular farm in Jamastran, Honduras. I want the 7th priming from another farm. This way, every single cigar has the same leaf, the same taste profile, for the same brand to order consistency from cigar to cigar. You know, many of you smoke Cuban cigars and you love Cuban cigars, and absolutely when you get a good one, they're good, but they're rare to find the good ones because there's so many bad construction. So when I tell you that it takes me 4.5 to 6 years, sometimes 8, 10 years for the aging of the tobaccos, unfortunately in Cuba, the technicians who really know and have great knowledge are limited by the politicians. So the politician will come into the factory and talk to the head fermentation guy, and he'll say, I want 4 to 5 years for this tobacco. He'll say, no, you got 1.5 years. Then they'll go to the rolling parlor in Cuba, and they'll say, well, how many cigars are you rolling per pair a day? About 350 is what he goes, no, I want you to make 700 to 800 per day. So that completely sacrifices the quality. And what I've noticed in Europe, it took me years to crack that market. I was in Geneva, Switzerland, thrown out of stores for at least 2 to 3 years till I took off the bans, gave them the cigars. And now they consider these cigars New World cigars. And as you've all noticed, if you go anywhere, whether it's London, Frankfurt, Dubai, shelves are empty. There are no Cubans because there's no incentive for the farmers to grow the tobacco in Cuba. Number one, they had 2 hurricanes in a row that wiped out the crop, and then a Chinese company bought them, and most of the Cubans now go to China. So this has been a great opportunity for us. We used to be about 10 to 15% of the market share in Europe, and now close to about 70% of the market share in Europe. So once the tobacco is harvested, then it goes into what's called curing. You literally take the tobacco, you tie the stems together with a sewing noodle, you hang them in a barn, temperatures digitally controlled, humidity is digitally controlled, and after about 90 days, that leaf goes from a green color to a yellow mutated color to a nice golden brown color. Now the tobacco is ready for what we call fermentation. Simply the most important process in smoking a good quality cigar. You'll notice you can smoke my cigars to the very end. They won't get sour, they won't get bitter. That's because we've gone through the appropriate fermentation. It simply means natural biological decomposition of tobacco. All the rich fertilizer it absorbed in the farm, the nitrogen, the boron, the potassium, the magnesium, you have to bleed that out. And it takes time. You literally take the tobacco, you add nothing but clean water to it, you put it in a pile, 5 foot wide, 10 foot long, 2,500 pounds of pressure from the natural weight of tobacco. Every 10 days you rotate the pile, top to bottom, bottom top, inside out, outside in. When that is done, that's when the cigars are perfectly fermented. Then we take the tobacco and we put it away for 6 years, 7 years, in the case of our vintage cigars, 10 or 12 years. At any one time, we're carrying about $35 to $40 million of raw materials